sorry about that. That was the end of the first part. But like I was saying, it's taken Nate and Sully's relationship, and at the same time, it shows parts before, like from Nate's childhood when he first met Sully, and kind of blends that in with After Effect. A lot of people are saying, as far as what I've heard, a lot of people are saying this is the last Uncharted game. They can't make another one out of this. I have to beg to differ with that. Uncharted 3 didn't really end the series for me. It kind of had the same ending as Uncharted 2, It's kind of like, oh, let's look off into the distance and be glad of our accomplishments today. Again, in 2 years, let's go, do something crazy. Uncharted 2 had that very ending of, hey, what's going to happen next? Oh, I don't know. Didn't think that far ahead, right? And this is that same thing, because I really think that they could do more. I think a lot of people are asking, are wondering, what's Uncharted 4 going to take place in? A lot of people are asking for a true American style history, part in this game. In my opinion, I think that they're going to travel, hopefully it will take place in America, because that's like the only place that they haven't really, well, it's America and Asia. I think somewhere in Asia, maybe China, Japan, somewhere out there, where they might do, some Asian history lesson or something like that, or kind of blend it in between America and Asia, kind of, maybe there's some history thing that kind of blends those two countries together, right? And which would be Drake's adventure. So, I mean, the only place we really haven't been to is Asia and America. We went to Europe, we went to the Middle East, Next up, I guess we have Asia and, America. So, we'll see. But yeah, great campaign, I thought. Excellent action. One of my favorite levels is definitely the plane level. I think a lot of people's favorite level is that plane level. And the amount of action and the stuff they throw on that screen at once is incredible. It's a pretty game to look at, and I think the game is excellent at storytelling because of its superb graphics. This game's the best looking game ever made, I would say. All right, it looks better than Crysis. All right, on high settings, it looks better, I think, and it looks. I just think that the game looks incredibly fantastic, and because of that, the story and the gameplay and the whole world is more immersive because of that. A lot of people like to say, oh, graphics don't matter. I'm telling you guys, graphics matter because they help the player get immersed in the experience. If Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 had graphics like Battlefield 3, the campaign would have been excellent, like I said in my review. But it had lackluster graphics, and because of that, you couldn't really get immersed into the experience, and nothing seemed like incredibly, over the top. The game tried to shock you, but because of the graphics, it didn't. And with Uncharted 3, the graphics really helped immerse you into that experience. Same thing with Uncharted 2. Uncharted is basically known for great graphics, great gameplay, great story, great characters. That great cinematic experience. With the gameplay, a lot of people are complaining about Uncharted 3, saying, oh, they messed up the shooting and blah, 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 blah. Those are the people who complain about the shooting. Those are the type of people who play one type of game and one type of game only. If you can honestly say, they messed up the shooting, I suck now, this game sucks, that means that you are so reluctant to try anything different or even adapt to any new type of, play style or different environment, that you simply are just incompetent of playing any other game. I mean, for someone to say they completely messed up the shooting, everything about the game is completely destroyed, this is just horrible. People are complaining about that. They messed up the shooting. I can't play the game, it sucks. I'm telling you guys, once I got used to the game, and yeah, I was a bit surprised when I first played it in the beta. I was a bit surprised that the game handled the way it did. The characters had weight this time, the shooting had recoil, and when you really get down to learning the controls and the way the game plays, it's much more balanced. It is. The multiplayer is much more balanced. You can now, unlike Uncharted 2, where you pick up an M4 and you go up against some guy with an AK and you completely destroy him because you have the most powerful assault rifle in the game, you can now go up with someone, you know, with an AK and what they call it, an M9 now, right? Because the AK may have a higher damage, but the M9 has a higher rate of fire, so it kind of balances out in the multiplayer. Speaking of multiplayer, this has to be, I know this is going to surprise a lot of people, but this is my opinion, right? This has to be the most addictive multiplayer probably this year, I would say. I couldn't stop playing this thing. The multiplayer is much more hardcore than Uncharted 2, and at the same time I'm kind of disappointed about this, but leveling up is so much easier in Uncharted 3. I put 90 hours into Uncharted 2 Among Thieves multiplayer, right? 90 hours, I only got to level 50. I put 90, and that was good too, you know? I was really good at the multiplayer, but I only got to level 50. With Uncharted 3, I put about 30 hours, maybe 30 hours, 35 hours into the multiplayer, and I'm already max ranked, you know? I mean, it's so much easier to level up and get by in the multiplayer this time. But at the same time, I think Naughty Dog wanted it to be a multiplayer experience that anyone can kind of just jump in and play. And now that they updated the thing where it's much more balanced, where people can't blind fire, this is definitely a multiplayer that shouldn't be overlooked, you know? You can say, most addicting multiplayer, are you crazy? Why not give it to Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3? Because we played these games before. We played these types of multiplayers. I don't have Battlefield 3 with me, sorry. But we played those types of multiplayers. Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, to me, is just boring, alright? It's just boring. It's like a been there, done that kind of thing. Whenever I play it, I just kind of just get the feeling that I played it before, and I just kind of get bored of that. Battlefield 3's multiplayer is different, alright? It's fun. It is fun. But it appeals to that, it appeals to that type of player who's going to stay committed. You cannot, you can't do this. Suppose you play the Battlefield multiplayer for hardcore for about a whole week. You cannot take a 3-day break and go back into the game and still be good at the game. I tried that many times and I just couldn't do it. Battlefield 3 requires a consistent player who loves the Battlefield franchise and will do nothing but play the Battlefield 3 multiplayer. And I haven't got to the point where I really want to do that. So as a result, Battlefield 3's multiplayer kind of lacked on, you know, kind of fell under the rug for me. With Uncharted 3's multiplayer, I just got really addicted to it, you know. But now that I finally completed the multiplayer, I'm not doing Legacy. I think that whole Prestige Legacy thing is bullshit. It's a waste of time. But hopefully I can now focus on other multiplayer games like Battlefield 3. So, but great game, great gameplay, great story, great graphics, you know. So now time for my #1 game of the year. You probably follow, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know what it is already. Skyrim. Now here's something that I think a lot of people are, well, coming from me, I'm even surprised too, you know. Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls, my first game that which I played for The Elder Scrolls. I never played an Elder Scrolls before, and I tried out Skyrim, right? A lot of people were like, you gotta try out Skyrim, and I looked at the game, I'm like, what's so special about it? You know, I didn't see what was so special about it, because I don't really enjoy that medieval type of style of game. There. I don't really enjoy that medieval game, that type of style of game, or that fantasy-oriented stuff. I don't play World of Warcraft. I'm not into, you know, that whole, like I said, I'm just not into that whole fantasy stuff. I'm not. So, I mean, a lot of people were saying, you gotta check this out, and I'm just, at the same time, just like, no. I probably won't check it out, you know. And then a lot of people were like, you know, do it. Finally, we saw gameplay. I think in the video may be too dark, so excuse me while I'm doing this, but finally, we saw more gameplay, right? They finally released that 30-minute gameplay, and I watched it, and I said, damn, this game actually looks pretty promising. A lot of people were like, try it out. So I finally gave in, and I finally decided to buy the game, and boy, was I surprised. This game surprised me at every corner. It surprised me in its story, surprised me in its, well, graphics, you can say. The graphics are outstanding, you know, and it surprised me in its gameplay, alright? I thought this was going to be a hardcore, grinding RPG that was really geared towards a player who would just kill the same enemy, level up, kill the same enemy, level up, kill the same enemy, level up. This game is not that game. This game is a very much do what you want, go where you want, play style type of game that a lot of games do not give you the opportunity to these days. The story is so deep and rich and filled with so much stuff to back it up that it's so easy to get sucked into the world of Skyrim. I did it the first. No, I knew this was the type of game where you had to take your time, right? I did 2 story missions when I first started. It took me like 2 hours, okay? 2 hours for like 2 story missions, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to do a side mission. So I go to the College of Winterhold to learn about magic and stuff because I want to learn more about magic, right? And I just, by trying to learn about magic, I got a new side mission, and I did that side mission. That side mission was 6 hours long. 6 hours long for one side mission. Not to mention that the side mission had its own story, its own cast of characters, and its own powers, and like I don't want to say gameplay because that's going to kind of confuse people, but certain gameplay elements were only available through that side mission. And it was excellent. And when I got done with that side mission, I said, wow, oh, wait, I didn't even do any of the story missions. That's what happens with this game, is you do side missions and they feel like story missions. So it's so easy to get lost, and because of that, it's worth every single time, it is worth to go exploring, to go talk to people, because you know that it's going to be worth your time and it's going to bring some good, alright? I cannot stop playing Skyrim. I can't. I really can't. I have all these games here. Forza 4 I still need to play. Dead Island, this horrible game, I haven't beaten yet. What else? There's all these great games here. I got Saints Row 3 over there, and I got Halo Combat Evolved from Gamefly. I got all these games that I need to play, and whenever I play them, I just can't play them without feeling bored because I didn't play Skyrim. That's the thing. You gotta realize that you got to really devote time into this game, alright? You can play it any way you want, but trust me, if you haven't picked this game up, I highly recommend you do, alright? A lot of people may say, okay, I don't want to, waste my time in one game, I want to play other games or something like that. But really telling you guys, this game is an experience like no other, alright? It is excellent, okay? It is excellent. It's fantastic. That's why it wins my Game of the Year awards, is because there's so much story and content and a fantastic cast of characters that each have something to offer, right? And there's so much stuff. This is the best, I'm calling it right now, this is the best value you can get for $60 this year. There's nothing, you cannot spend $60 and get more content than this game. I put like 25 hours into the game so far. I'm probably about 10% done with the campaign. Just been doing side missions, but it's amazing. It really is amazing. And I was so surprised at the game. Now, it is from Bethesda, and Fallout 3 was my favorite RPG of all time, right? So I was like, okay, fine. At least it's like that. But, Fallout 3, an excellent game in my opinion, but I think this game just really sets the benchmark for any RPG for that matter. Excellent. I just can't stop saying about how excellent it is. Now, granted, a lot of people are going to say there's glitches in the game. How can you rate it a Game of the Year award? I've been playing the game for 25 hours. So far, I experienced 2 console frees at about 10 hours apart from each other or something like that. But I haven't really experienced any glitches that prevented me from doing the actual story, A lot of people are going to say, there's pop-in. There's pop-in textures, it's an open world, there's so much pop-in. Previously I was playing the game on a disc, but I decided to install it to my Xbox hard drive because, the patch came up and, people were saying, okay, it's fine, you don't have to suffer because of lower text resolution when you install it to your hard drive. So I decided to install it to my hard drive, and the game's operating just fine now. But definitely something I think you shouldn't overlook. Like I said, it's just so rich and filled with content that it's just it's an incredible game. And considering it's only on one disc, right? You can't go wrong with it. It's only on one disc, and they put over hundreds of hours of content on one disc. That itself is an accomplishment. And Bethesda, you know, a lot of people are gonna say they release buggy games all the time. How can you do that? You know, I just think that, you know, bugs to me, not previously. Previously, the way I rated games, I was very strict up on it. I was like, if the game has one bug, literally, this is how it was. If the game had one bug, I wouldn't rate it a 10. I don't care if the bug was like one texture pop-in, and that's all. If it had one texture pop-in, I would freaking rate the game like a 9, even though it was excellent, alright? That's how I rated it previously. But playing this, you know, there isn't really anything that's game-breaking and something that I think that would destroy the game. So please, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you check out Skyrim. Even if you're not a fan of the medieval fantasy type genre of games, like myself, you know, I wasn't a fan of that. I never really liked doing that or experiencing that part of it. Even so, this game is just so filled, is so rich with story, you know, and I think that's what is going to appeal to a lot of people, is the story. If you're a type of person who plays games for the story, like myself, that game is going to really consume your life. Because there's so much story. Each character has his own story and background. Each place you go to, doesn't matter if it's a cave, doesn't matter if it's a little town, doesn't matter if it's a shack by the river, alright? It each has its own story. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to like about the game, is its story and its content and how it really pulls you into Skyrim. Everything from the music, how you're just roaming around, it's all beautiful, alright? It really is beautiful. So Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls V, excellent game, wins my Game of the Year nominee for being an incredible adventure and something that I'm still finding surprises around every corner. That's all I have to say. After 25 hours, I'm still finding surprises around every corner, and I'm still learning new content and stuff to do, and that's what makes this game worth your time, rather than all these other games. No, it does not have multiplayer, but let's be honest here. 100 hours, over 100 hours, let's just say 100 hours of story content, alright? I spent about 80, 90 hours into the Uncharted 2 multiplayer, and I got to level 50, alright? In about a 10-hour campaign. But at the same time, you know, what you're going to get here is worth more for your money. I'm telling you guys, do not overlook this. This is something I think you should pick up. It is incredible. It's basically the best value for your dollar this year, in my opinion. So, great game. Game of the Year award goes to this. Congratulations. And we're going to go on from there. So yeah, I'm going to talk about right now my future. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a separate video about that. Or should I do it now? No, I'm going to make a separate video about that, alright? So I was going to do the future 2012 games, what I'm looking forward to, but I'm going to make a separate video about that, alright? But there they are, my Game of the Year awards. These are just games that kind of scattered around the desk here, so kind of, you know, just gave some, I don't know, some attitude toward this, but yeah. Skyrim, great game. All those other games, great games. I think you should check them out. So yeah, we'll go on from there, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope I convinced some of you to buy some of these games if you haven't checked them out. And go on from there, right, guys? So thanks for watching. Have a good day.